I spoke to some of the fans after the Welsh match, and they were saying, it'd be just like Gloucester to go and beat Quins now, having struggled against the side at the bottom of the table. And in a way, there's been a recent history of that. I mean, history is not necessarily your prerogative, but where big sides have arrived and Gloucester have turned them over.
I think, from a mental perspective sometimes it's a lot easier to deal with. The fact is, Gloucester came from a very low level last year in terms of confidence and what they achieved last season. And we've got to build on things. That we're not a complete team. We're not a side that can not be right on top of our game when we play the so-called lesser sides. And we're working hard at that. And we've been caught short a couple of times. We've managed to bounce back most of the time through our resilience and our desire as much as anything else, and that underpins this team, and that's very important. But as we improve, as we become more of a complete team, we'll be able to deal with some of these teams a little bit better than we are at this moment in time. But right now it's where we are.
Tick the scrum and line-out boxes, they were good on the weekend. Are you going to try and reduce the variables outside of that for Quins, or are you going to try and keep them as broad as you have done?
Quins are an excellent team. They're champions, and we've got a lot of work to do on the weekend. I think what we've done this week is really just go within ourselves a little bit as a group, just refocus on what's important to us, and just have a look at the individuals that we've got in the team, what we can do particularly well when we decide to do things, and it's all about what we do on Friday night, and I'm not going to predict anything in terms of results or performance. It's a huge game for us. It's a very tough opposition. Trailblazing over the last 2 or 3 years in terms of their performances and results. So we've got it all to do, and it's a big test for us.
Were you surprised by their display at Saracens?
Saracens were very good, I thought, on the day. Very, very good, and you have to give them credit. But no team will go through the whole season without a little wobble. It depends when those wobbles happen at key times, and right now it's a key time, and as I've said for a few weeks now, we're still very much in the fight, and it's about seeing what we can actually do, and if we can take our game to the next level, who knows with this group of players.
I'll use a racing analogy here. Sometimes horses need a run before you see the best of them. Will you have benefited from last Saturday?
I'd like to think so. I would like to think so. We needed that game. It's always difficult managing that rest period, and we'd have to say that we didn't manage that particularly well, and we learned lessons from that. But we were, I wouldn't say we were fortunate, but we were able to fight back and win that game. So we gained that experience and brought ourselves back into the race, if you like, through having run a race and won. So it's not a bad position.
And just to extend that, it's a step up in class this week, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's rugby's a funny old game. What we were up against last week was, they're a good side who are very difficult to play against, and all teams have found that this year. And they've got a few scalps, and I'm sure they'll have a few wins before the end of the season as well, quite frankly. So I'm not underestimating London Welsh. I don't think anybody else should. I will not take them lightly at all. But sometimes, you can get drawn into a bit of a dogfight, and probably that's what happened. But part of that was we were definitely rusty. We definitely didn't work to the patterns that we'd worked to earlier in the season. Although we saw a little bit of it towards the end of the game, the last 20 minutes when we opened things up again. So we're looking for a far more complete and ambitious display, if you like.